Hello everyone, Charles Watts here, the Arsenal correspondent at Goal, joining you on Wednesday match day for Arsenal. They are in action tonight at Stamford Bridge. 3 games to go of this long, difficult, painful Premier League season. I think we're all going to celebrate when these games are done and dusted. Difficult game for Arsenal tonight against a very, very good Chelsea side, arguably the best side in the league at the moment, even though Manchester City, were crowned champions last night after United's defeat at home to Leicester. But I think form-wise, Chelsea have been fantastic last couple of months. Obviously beating City twice in the FA Cup final, in the Champions League final. You can't really say a bad word about the job Thomas Tuchel has done there since he's gone in and replaced Frank Lampard. So it'll be interesting to see what sort of team Chelsea play tonight. They do have the FA Cup final this weekend. They are pretty much assured a top 4 spot. You would think now they need one more win, I think, out of the 3 games to go. So you think they're going to be all right. Yeah, you would think that maybe Thomas Tuchel might rest a few players. That might work to Arsenal's advantage, but we will wait and see this evening. I will be at Stamford Bridge, so please do keep an eye on my social media. As always, I'll give you updates from the game and anything interesting that happens afterwards. But I wanted to talk, I'll get to that match at the end of this video, look at the team news and do my usual predicted 11, that sort of thing. Some interesting comments from Thomas Tuchel actually about Aubameyang, which I thought I'd go over as well. But I wanted to start on the whole talk of the Arsenal overhaul, which continues to dominate proceedings at the moment. Mikel Arteta speaking heavily about it yesterday in his press conference. He had more to say in the stuff that was embargoed for 10:30 last night. He's been speaking to Sky Sports as well. Really interesting stuff on exactly the big plans for Arsenal this summer, and he's certainly not, in his words, he's certainly not sort of scaling down the task of the job facing Arsenal. He's he's making it clear just how big the changes could be at the club this summer. I wanted to go over a few of it. Interestingly, he was asked, about, do you think you've got the maximum out of this squad of players that you have at the moment? He said, with the majority of them, yes. So obviously a few that he doesn't think that they had. And he said, well, those ones that you haven't managed to get the best out of, how do you do that? And he said, finding a different way to do it, challenge them again, putting somebody next to them to try and push them again. Some of them get to a certain level and you cannot push any further. If you want to evolve that, it is not possible. So basically they're a very clear hint that players that he does not think he can improve will be moved on this summer. We've talked at length about the players who could go. We're talking about Bellerin, potentially Leno, Granit Xhaka even, potentially if you look at the midfielders that they're looking to bring in, possibly Basuma, someone like that. There's plenty. Lacazette, you're talking about big name players there, and that's before you even get to the loan players who could well head out the door. You're looking at massive changes if Arsenal can manage to do it, because it's easy to say you want these players out the door. Finding buyers for them and actually manage to sell them is a lot more difficult, as Arsenal found in recent transfer windows. We knew what they wanted to do last summer, but most of them, they couldn't get that done, and they ended up in January having to pay them off to leave. You talk about Mustafi, Ozil, Socrates, those sort of players. So it's not going to be easy for Arsenal to do what they want to do this summer, but they certainly do want to put forward some big changes at the club. And Mikel was asking, do you have to sacrifice some big players this summer just to get money in so you can spend? And he said, let's see what happens. It's difficult to predict that one. In general, we wouldn't like to do that because we're going to be stronger. Now, I look at Arsenal's squad at the moment. I think you've got a certain amount of players, not too many, who you would deem unsellable. And when I mean that, you look at Bukayo Saka, Emil Smith-Rowe, Kieran Tierney, I'd say Rob Holding, Gabriel, I would say, potentially William Saliba, because he will be given a chance this summer as well. Aubameyang as well, I don't think he'll go anywhere. But other than that, I think pretty much everyone is for sale. If a decent bid came in, Arsenal wouldn't block any moves. I think that you're probably looking at 5, 6, 7 players who you'd think are untouchable in this squad at the moment, but the rest of them can all go. So it'll be very interesting to see what sort of offers come in for these. And then Mikel was talking about Stan Kroenke was asked about Kroenke and the support he'll get. Will he be back this transfer window? Will he get the money he needs to make the changes that he wants to happen? He said, look, I think it's clear if we want to improve the team, we need some resources. And then talking about the wider job at its hand, he said, our responsibility and aim is to finish as high as possible. It will always help and create more belief, but the outlook is bigger than that. What I mean is that we are in the middle of a process. We are not at the start or at the end. It is a process that we are in. It started a few months ago. We had changes of the structure of the club. These changes were unprecedented, and it's not happened in the club's long history. It's something we had to do. It's already happened, and it has to continue. It's a difficult task because it does not provide the stability that is necessary. We have had an incredible opportunity. I am so excited. We have an incredible opportunity. I'm so excited because I know what we can do, and with the size and resources we are going to have and the quality of people we have at the club, I think the owners are going to be really involved. I think they'll be really supportive. So some big words there from Mikel Arteta at the end. They're talking about the owners and the support and the money that they might get, saying he's excited by the resources they're going to have available. He says the owners are going to be involved and they're going to be really supportive. Now, these are big words, and when you think of the mood of the fan base at the moment and everything like that, they're brave words, because if now, having put this out there to the public, the Kroenkes don't spend and don't give him the money that it seems like he's been promised, given by these words, then it's going to really generate some anger amid a very angry already fan base that exists at Arsenal. So quite brave and bold words from Mikel Arteta. It's going to be interesting. What do the Kroenkes do? They know the feeling. There's always been unrest. They're very good at shielding themselves from that. They don't really care how they're viewed, but this is different. There is a real movement at Arsenal at the moment. We're seeing constant protests. They may not have been that big the last couple of games. I think they will be against Brighton on the final game of the season, but we're seeing it on a regular basis now. What's going to happen when fans come back into the stadium next season? How big will the protests inside the ground be? The Kroenkes know they're in real. They need some seriously good PR if they want to not win the fans back, because I don't think they'll ever do that, but quieten the unrest. So how are they going to do that this summer? The only way they can do that really this summer is by backing Mikel Arteta, by giving him the money that he wants to bring in the players he wants, and then hopefully Arsenal can improve next season and get themselves back up towards the top of the table where they want to be. So it's a really important summer for the Kroenkes here. They have to make the right decisions, and by what Mikel Arteta is saying there, that he certainly seems to be giving some assurances that they are going to be involved. They are going to give him the money. They are going to give him the resources that he needs to push through with the rebuild that he wants and that's been started over the last couple of windows and clearly still has a long way to go. So going to be very interesting. I have written a piece today about the summer rebuild and what could happen. I'll pin it down in the comments below, so give it a read. It talks about all the players who could go, who could come in, that sort of thing. Do give that a read, because it's certainly the big talking point around Arsenal at the moment is what is exactly going to happen in the summer. Because I think we're in for an interesting summer. Certainly it's going to be a busy one. Certainly a busy one for me to try and keep track on, and certainly a busy one for you guys to read about and hopefully, as Mikel says, be excited by. Okay, let's quickly move on to the Chelsea game now, shall we? In terms of team news, Arsenal not looking too bad. Matt Ryan was back in training yesterday. He obviously missed out the weekend through illness, so that's good news. Whether he starts, I doubt it, but he's available again. Pablo Mari and Granit Xhaka look doubtful. Xhaka's got his groin issue, Mari with the ankle. One person who's not playing is David Louise. We know that. It looks like he won't play again this season. Looks like he potentially won't play again for Arsenal with this hamstring injury he has got now, and he's out of contract obviously in the summer. Mikel saying he's still some way off yesterday in his press conference. So other than that, everyone's available by the looks of it, unless anything's happened in training. So Mikel's got some choices to make. There's no game at the weekend. They don't play for another week now, Arsenal, so you don't have to worry about tiring players out or anything like that. And as I suggested, maybe Chelsea might rest one or two ahead of the FA Cup final, so this could be an opportunity for Arsenal to pick up what will be a very good result against a top side away from home. So it'll be interesting to see exactly how Mikel approaches this one. Thomas Tuchel's been speaking about Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang. Some interesting comments from him. Obviously, the pair work together very closely at Borussia Dortmund. They have a very good relationship. And here's what Tuchel had to say. I thought it was quite interesting. He said, I don't think he missed a single training session in 2 years. Maybe arrived 5 minutes late to the ground. That can happen with him. But if he does this, he is in a hurry. He feels sorry and he has a smile on his face. it was a very reliable relationship because he delivered an unbelievable amount of goals. His speed was unique in the Bundesliga and he was a crucial player. Bit of a crazy guy, but nice crazy. We are still in touch and exchange messages with each other. In some ways, he will still always be my player, so I want him to succeed and have a good time wherever he is. The contact never fully stopped, and it's nice to see him because he's always on for a hug, and it's nice to see him laugh. But of course, we want to stop him, and there is no exchange now before the game. So could Tuchel, I mean, Aubameyang, Chelsea wanted Aubameyang last summer. It didn't happen in the end because of his age, but Tuchel very much looking at a striker again this summer. So could that happen? Could Tuchel try and lure Aubameyang from Stamford Bridge to, from the Emirates to Stamford Bridge? He says, when he was asked that yesterday in his press conference, he sort of said, well, he does not get younger. That's the problem. So looking doubtful, you would say, on that. You imagine that Chelsea, if they didn't let it happen last season, they won't give the green light for Tuchel to try and do it this summer as well. And as I said, I see Aubameyang certainly one of the untouchable players, the few untouchable players in this Arsenal squad, having signed his new contract. He is the captain. I think Arsenal will be looking to move a lot of players on this summer, but Aubameyang won't be one of them. Okay, before I go today, let's quickly go through my predicted 11 for this one. Like I said, no game now for a week, so I think Arsenal could, afford to go pretty strong in this one. Don't have to worry about rotation. Maybe take advantage of Chelsea rotating a few. I think Leno will be in goal. I know Matt Ryan's back available and he has played a couple of games recently, but I think we'll stick with Bernd Leno in goal. I'm going to go for Callum Chambers at right back. Centre-back partnership of Rob Holding and Gabriel. Kieran Tierney coming back in at left back. I think we'll see Thomas Partey and Mohamed El Neni as the midfield pairing today. Obviously no Granit Xhaka, he is injured. And then up front I'm going to go Saka on the right, Smith Rowe, Pepe and Aubameyang as a central striker. Now this isn't the team that I'm saying I would like to see, although saying that it is pretty similar to the one I would like to see today. And it's the one that I think that Mikel will probably go for me. So I'll run through that one more time. Leno, Bellerin, Holding, Gabriel, Tierney, Partey, El Neni, Pepe, Smith Rowe and Aubameyang. So that's my predicted 11 for tonight. Right, that's about it for me today. Thank you for watching as always. As I said, I will be up at Stamford Bridge, so follow my social media channels for all the action tonight and the reaction from the game. And please do head down, click on that link below and read what I've had to say about the Arsenal overhaul, which is going to keep us very, very entertained, I would say, this summer. Until then, everyone, have a good day. I'll speak to you soon.